to my channel. My name is Charnel, and today I'm going to be doing my February reads, talking about what books I read in February, and it was a lot. I know I said I was going to slow down for February when I talked to y'all about my January reads, but I'm just into my books, man. So I mostly read physical books, but I do have a few. I have like one audiobook and I think like 2 ebooks. I know one of them for sure was from Libby. So I'm gonna just jump in with my physical book. So first, in historical fiction, I read Junie by Aaron Crosby Eckstein. I rated this 4 out of 5 stars. So this is a sort of it's a historical fiction, but the character is YA. So I would say it's adult fiction, but the character is YA. So we have to keep that in mind. So basically Junie, she's a main character. She is an enslaved girl, and there's a little bit of magical realism in this, where she is kind of fighting with her sister's ghost to basically try to get their family to freedom. That's not a spoiler, but so that's the basis of the story. Why I didn't give it 5 stars is because Junie was just very, I guess this could be a good thing, but she was very like stubborn and headstrong to like her own detriment. She was written like a YA character, basically. If you can believe that, with a slavery story. But overall, I think it's a really good historical fiction book. It's a really good historical fiction. And it's kind of a different take on it, in my experience, reading historical fiction, where there's the magical realism in it with her sister's ghost, but then there's also like I don't think I've read a enslaved person like this before. Again, it's fiction. It's fiction. Where again, like she reads like a modern day teenager. So that was just very interesting to me. So yeah, I do recommend this though. And then also in historical fiction, I read The Life of Herod the Great by the great Zora Neale Hurston. You guys remember, if you watch my 2025 highly anticipated reads video from like January, I think I posted it on YouTube. This was one of the books. But okay, so this book I read it as a part of the promotion for the release in February for a book tour, Hear Our Voices book tour, to help to promote the book. And so the whole basis of it is, this is one of the last books, or one of the manuscripts found of Zora Neale Hurston that she never got to finish because she passed away. So the publisher released it still and had like editors edit it. Did it say who? No, it doesn't say. But so you have to go in with that thought that it's not finished. And to me, you could tell it was not finished. I unfortunately gave it like 3.5 stars. And actually I think 3.25 stars. So if you look at my Goodreads, it probably just says 3 stars for this. And it shouldn't have. I don't even want to really go into it, because I did not like it. And it's not the subject matter. It's just a person who has read Zora Neale Hurston, you could tell it was not finished. It just seemed like they published her notes. You know, authors, they gather notes and research and stuff. It seemed like they just released her research. And that's it. I don't even know if I recommend it, because it just, yeah. But I recommend read Zora Neale Hurston. The Eyes Are Watching God, everything. Read her books. But that one is like, obviously it was not finished to me. Maybe I'm missing something. Let me know if you read it and I'm missing something. But yeah. So another historical fiction I read was Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkerson. I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars. But I was just thinking about it like yesterday. I was like, I should have just gave it 5 stars. So let's just say I gave it 5 stars. I loved this book. It's a family saga. Starting from, let me turn off this phone. It's a family saga, starting from slavery days. So basically around that time when the Civil War is happening. So slavery is about to be abolished. And it goes through an entire family all the way present day. So it's a family saga. And I've told y'all my favorite types of historical fictions or just novels period are family sagas. The basis of it is, so there's a jar in this family that's been passed down from slavery days through modern day. I think it's like, is it like 2022, 2023, I think. So basically modern day. So this jar has been in the family that long. So basically over 150 something years. If that, is it 200 years? Oh my god, I'm not good at math, y'all. In this jar, because they call the jar Old Mo, and there's a story behind it. He's like the unspoken character throughout the book, and you see where, like, how this family has survived, and made generational wealth, not including the jar, just through the years, and how the jar helped them. The jar was like a survival method for slavery. Like, I don't want to tell it all, but it's like, it was so, it's just inspiring. It's inspiring. And yeah, but the only downside with, not downside, but like, I've seen, before I read this, there was so many critiques about this book. And the main thing was people were saying, oh, it's just too many POVs, it's too many point of views. But I liked it because I think it really fleshed out the story in terms of the entire family, people connected to the family and things like that, to really bring the story home of what happened to the jar, what happened to Edie's, or Ebby, yeah, Ebby's brother, and what happened to the jar the day that Ebby's brother died. So I highly recommend this one. Again, if you like multiple POVs, I recommend it. So the next I'm going to talk about the romances. I need my phone for this. Okay. So I read Midnight Grooves by Sula Sullivan. I rated this 4 out of 5 stars. This one was so good. It's a little tiny little book. I had to buy it, like the physical copy, because it's just so cute. This one's set in like the 70s or the 80s. I believe the 70s, because it's like that disco groovy era. And it's magic. It's kind of a romance fantasy, because it's witches and like magic. So I guess a little bit of magical realism, because it's like set in like a real setting. But it was just so cute. It's like a really fast read. It was just super cute. And so the main character, she's like a makeup artist. She's a witch. And she feels like her luck has run out because like her makeup career isn't going anywhere. So like it just sounds kind of crazy, because it's just like, it sounds like I'm talking about like, you know, something regular, but yeah. So she's trying everything. She's eating all the recipes, doing all the potions she could do to get her luck to come back. And then she meets, or not meets, because the guy's her neighbor, the main male character. He's her neighbor across the hall. and something happens to bring them together, and it's like fate. I don't know. It was just so cute. It was a quick, easy read, and look at this cover. It's just so cute. I recommend it. Next physical romance book that I read in Feb is Loved by You by Alexandria Lachelle, and this is a beyond 5 stars book for me. This was actually, I think, my favorite read. It's one of my favorite books of the year already. It's one of my favorite romances. I love it. You guys, it was like a pleasant surprise. So this is what happened. It's been sitting on my Kindle for, I don't even know how long, like months. It was just sitting on my Kindle. And then, you know, I was just like, oh, it's Valentine's Day. Literally, I think it was like Valentine's Day. I was like, oh, let me read start reading a romance. On my Kindle, mind you. I didn't own the physical copy yet. And I was just reading it. I read it in a day. Look how thick this is. I read it in a day. I just could not stop. I loved it. I like cried. It was funny. It was like, it felt like I was reading out with my friends. And immediately when I was done, I said, I have to own this. I need to own it. I don't really order a lot of KU books because it's on Kindle Unlimited. I don't really own a lot of Kindle Unlimited books. I'm like, oh, it was good. Like this one, I immediately ordered it. I was like, I need to support this author. I need to have my own book trophy. And I'm so glad I did. You guys, please read this one. So this one is a second chance romance. And y'all know that is my favorite romance trope. It's second chance romance. So they're college sweethearts. And they're just so cute. So it's Vanessa and Xavier. So they're college sweethearts. Something happens, of course, to make them pull apart, because the flashback chapters, you're just like, how did they break up? Like, they were like perfect, right? So something happens. They fall apart for I don't remember how many years, maybe 7 years or something. So they're like in their late 20s when they reconnect, and it just I loved it. I loved it. And it's just, yeah, so it's second chance romance. It's Black love. And I just hope to get more of them. I feel like we are, because you know when they set up like the side characters, so like her best friend and his best friend, there's something there, there's some tension there. So I'm hoping we get their story. Alexandria, girl, I just love it. Okay, I'm gonna continue on with romance. I kept reading on my Kindle. So I'll put the picture up. This is Between the Lines by Christina C. Jones. This is sort of a series because I read the first book called Behind the Scenes like last year, maybe 2 years ago. No, it was 2 years ago. And now this one, it was a pleasant surprise when I was scrolling through my Kindle. Yeah, so this one is WAWG Studios, and then that's yeah, so it's a series. Come on, it's get convoluted for me trying to explain who is who because it's a lot. But yeah, so it's kind of a it's like movie stars and things like that, like fictional movie stars, and then you yeah, and their love stories. So this one is the sister of the main male character from Behind the Scenes. And what's her name? Elodie. So this is her book, Between the Lines, and her falling in love. So this is kind of a second chance romance. And I remember in Behind the Scenes, they were alluding to her and this guy from Between the Lines. Sort of a second chance romance. And again, y'all know that's my trope. I don't know. Because in real life, I don't really do second chances. I don't know how it is. In these romance books, I eat up a second chance romance. I loved it. Oh, did I say I gave it 4 stars? It was a solid 4-star read. It's good writing. It was good stuff going on, and yeah, it's just a fun read. It's Christina C. Jones, y'all. I recommend it. It's movie stars, paparazzi, all that type of stuff. I love this world that she's built, and I need to see if she has already. Oh no, because this one just came out in January. That's why it just came out in January. So I'm gonna keep keep my eye out for the next coming books in this series, because she has a hit with this WAWG Studios series. I love it. I just love Christina C. Jones writing, period. That I read was North King's Unexpected Inevitability by the GOAT A.E. Valdez. This Three Kings series is like my favorite line of books from her. I loved it. Snow King Catches His Snowflake was originally my favorite book by A.E. Valdez. But it's kind of, I think North and Snow are kind of neck and neck now. Like in terms of just the brothers. But the stories, Snow King got 5 stars for me. And North King got 4.25. But I'm liking North King, like the brother, better than Snow. Does that make sense? Because I'll tell you why. So the North King's Unexpected Inevitability, I gave it 4.25 because I feel like it was just a little bit too long. Because that's the thing with A.E. Valdez, her romance books are very long, and she prides herself on that. And it's like, of course, more power to her, because I think she's a really good writer. She writes very beautifully, but I don't know. Because I was in a romance mood, but I was like, maybe I wasn't in a romance mood, but like, I just feel like Snow King's book was like a perfect length. But North King, and I kind of get why she made it so long. I think it's like over 500 pages. Because North's story is the one that I think all of us have been waiting for. Because he's the youngest. He's always been in like the background. And he'll, like, you know, in Snow and Winter stories. So like he's always a voice of reason. He's the youngest brother, but he be pulling his two big brothers together. And we kind of explore that he does hold things together. He's the glue, and we really get to see that in North's story, in his book. And I think that's why it went over 500 pages, because it was a lot to wrap up. I'm assuming it's the last book because he's the last brother. It was only 3 brothers. But they all have besties, like other guys in the stories. So maybe we'll get more in this series. I don't know. I don't know if she said anything yet, but I could see why she wrote so much for his book. But it's just like, sometimes I'm just like, okay, get back to you and Aspen. I'm like, okay, I want to know more. Like, let's get back to North and Aspen. But there was a lot of family ties, family drama, brotherhood stuff that had to be dealt with. So I get it. So all in one book, so it ended up being over 500 pages. It's over 700 pages. Why did I think it was only 5? Which was Snow King? See? That's why. Because Snow King Catches His Snowflake was only 231 pages. Winter's Eve was 580 pages. And North King was 762 pages. That's why I gave it 4.25. So, long story short, but if you read on your Kindle, you don't notice. As always, when you read on your Kindle, you don't really notice that it's a long book. Anyways, 4.25 for North King. That was my last romance. Okay, so now we're going to do some fantasy. So first I'm going to start with Needy Little Things. Okay, so this one is a YA sci-fi fantasy, I think it's supposed to be. Character is Soraya. She is a high school student, and she has these ESP powers, so she can basically, is it what she knows what people are thinking. Yes, so she knows what people are, no, she knows your wants. That's what it is. Not specifically what you're thinking, like whatever, but she knows your wants. So she can hear your wants in your head. So if you need, you're walking down the hallway past her and you're like, you know, you ate some hot Cheetos or something, and you're like, oh my god, I'm thirsty, I need water. She's gonna hear that. She's gonna hear water, 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 water from you. So she feels obligated to get the things that you want or need because she can hear them. And some twists start happening with those powers in terms of the interpretation of them. Interpreting what, or interpreting. Is interpreting a word? I don't think so. So her interpreting what you need, it starts to do like a little cause and effect thing. Like, because I got you those scissors, you accidentally cut yourself. I don't know. So then it's something like stuff like that starts happening. But the basis of this is, of Needy Little Things, is that black girls are going missing. And she tries to use, or not even tries, her powers start to come in to where she's seeing connections between some of the girls who are going missing and then her powers. And then it starts to hit close to home because, does it say it on here? It starts to hit close to home because, oh yeah, it does say that. Because one of her best friends goes missing. And that's all I'm going to say. And in terms of that situation, but yes, the crux of this book is raising awareness about black girls going missing and the lack of attention, resources, and yeah, basically all of that. The lack of everything to find the missing black girls. So yeah, there's a lot going on in the story. I gave it a solid 4 stars. I loved this book. The only thing that like grinded my gears was, I feel like the ending was rushed in terms of like wrapping up everything, but there's a cliffhanger. So I'm hoping Miss Chanel Desamore's girl, are we getting a book too? Because the way that last sentence is always a last sentence in these fantasy books. Or that last sentence, I literally sat up and said, what? When I was listening, I was like, what? Wait, that's it? And then it was author's note. So we need to know what's going on, please. That's the only thing. But not just the last sentence, but like before that, I just feel like that last chapter, it was like, it felt rushed to me. But then it brought it back with that last sentence, and you're like, wait, what? So, read Needy Little Things. And I actually really enjoyed the audiobook. And oh no, it doesn't say. Cause I think it's narrated by one of my favorite like black girl narrators. Like, I always hear her voice on like all the black girl books that I read on the audiobook. I can't remember her name. If I remember to put it, I'm gonna put it in the video. Cause her voice, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be good. When I hear her voice, so like, okay, it's gonna be good. So comment below if y'all are like that too with your audiobooks. If you hear somebody's voice, you know, you're like, wait, okay, this is gonna be good. I can't remember her name though, and it's not on the Goodreads. Okay. So next, in terms of fantasy, sci-fi, I read Death of the Author. Y'all know this is one of my most highly anticipated new releases of this year. Came out the end of February, beginning of February, but I read it in February though. So this is Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor. And once again, I love these sprayed edges, y'all. So this is a sci-fi about, if you if you just watched my most recent reading vlog, whatever the most recent video is I just posted, you saw me talk about this book already. And what did I give it? 4 stars. And so what it is so this book is about an author who, she keeps the books that the book she was writing for like years was not shelved, but it was basically denied by her editors and her publisher. So she feels in a rut. She just got fired from her her professorship job. She was an adjunct professor at a university. She just got fired because she got in an argument with some white kids in her class. They microaggressed her, but she's the one that got in trouble, of course. So she just feels, at a crossroads. So she just distracts herself, like, you know, just hanging out with her family. Yeah. But she, in her anger about all of that, about her book being panned, her losing her teaching job, she starts writing this bomb new novel, like diverting from what she usually does. She starts writing a sci-fi novel called Rested Robots. And I know I showed y'all this before, but just in case it's your first video with me, but this is so the hardcover of the book, they put her book cover, Rested Robots. So I just thought it was so cool that you're basically and this is the catch, you get to read Rested Robots while reading this book. Does that make sense? I think I said the same thing in my last video about this because I couldn't remember. I don't know if I'm saying it right. So it's a book within a book, but it's just, it was so good, you guys, because like you just vibing. I feel like I was just vibing, and then things started to connect. I was like, oh. So I highly recommend this one. It was a solid 4 stars for me because it's, I don't know, it's sci-fi. It's just something new. And I loved it. I loved it. But there was certain parts where I was just like, what? Like, so maybe that's why I gave it 4 stars. But I don't know. I loved it. I highly recommend it. And I would listen to the audiobook off and on, like while working and stuff. And I recommend the audiobook too, because I feel like it'll helping me understand some of this sci-fi talk. Yeah, I think I'm a sci-fi girly, y'all, because I'm loving it. And then, not sci-fi, but it's in the same vein. This is a horror. It's like a historical fiction horror thriller. This is This Cursed House by Del Sandine. It's one of my aardvark books from like January. And this one is, how many stars did I give it? I think I gave it 4. I gave it 4 stars. So this book was so like trippy. So basically the main character, so this is set in like the 60s. Yeah, oh yeah, the early 60s. It's set in the early 60s. And the main character, she leaves Chicago because her life is falling apart, basically. And she got this job in New Orleans to be a tutor for this family. When she gets there, it's like they're like a weird passing family. And she's like, okay, y'all are weird. And yeah, so, and there's nobody for her to even tutor. They basically like misled her. She thinks she's about to go down and tutor these kids. And then this house, and then weird things just start happening. And so I'm just gonna tell y'all this. It's in here. And the house is cursed from the title. But there's haints in here, ghosts, and weird things happening. But this book, like, I couldn't stop reading it. I couldn't stop reading it, but it was too good, y'all. And there's a lot of twists and turns and the revelations, like things that are revealed, and y'all need to read this. And I think I told y'all, what did I give it? 4 stars. It was a solid read. I'm not giving no horror book 5 stars, except for Reformatory. Except for Reformatory, but this one was so good. There's a lot of ties from like the past and like their present day. It was just really good. It's like a lot of backstory. This was a good solid read. But yeah, and y'all know I'm a scaredy cat, and I was able to read it. I mean, in the daytime. I didn't read it at night. I read it during the day, but I liked it. And then next, oh, I forgot to talk about another historical fiction. So I read Harlem Rhapsody, y'all, by Victoria Christopher Murray. I read it on, because I had the ARC from NetGalley. So I read it on my Kindle. So I'll put the picture up. But it's crazy. I have the physical book out I pre-ordered it, but I just haven't made it to that specific bookstore that I pre-ordered it from. And the owner has called me. She's like, hey, I got your book. But I just haven't made it down. That bookstore is like the farthest one from me, like in my general vicinity. So I have to like drive down the highway to get to her store. I just haven't been able to make it down there to get that book. But I do technically own the physical. It's just not here. So I'll put the picture up somewhere. 5-star read. 5 stars. 5-star read. Well, I technically did 4.5, but I rounded up. Let's do 4.75. Okay, whatever. So this book it's a historical fiction. It's messy. So this is about the mother of the literary part of the Harlem Renaissance, Jessie Redmond Fawcett, and it's also about her affair with a married W.E.B. Du Bois. That's not a spoiler. It's the part. It's everybody's been talking about it. Everybody's been talking about it on the book world, on this here internet. So that is a large part of the story. That's the unfortunate part. But the fortunate and positive part is you get to see how she discovered the greats. So Countee Cullen, Langston Hughes, Zora Neale Hurston, who I just talked about, Nella Lawson? Nella Larson. Why do I want to say Lawson? Nella Larson, the author who wrote Passing and Quicksilver, and so many others. Those are just the names that I've always known. But there's way more that I was sitting there Googling, like, who's that child? Like, you know, like, and I've told you guys the Harlem Renaissance is like my favorite period in history to learn about and read about. So this book was just perfect. It was just, I'll read you guys part of my review that I put on Goodreads and Storygraph. And I said, I did wish we got to find out more about Jessie's relationship with the literary legends and less about her relationship with the boy. He was just trifling. Overall, the pacing and the prose was perfect, which is true. Learning about Jessie Redmond Fawcett was perfect. I love this book. All true. So from reading this and to see that Jessie Redmond Fawcett has her own novels out there, she has like 5 or 6. I ordered one. I ordered Plum Bun. So it's on the top of my bookshelf. I'll show y'all the vlog this week. I ordered Plum Bun by her, and when I saw online that it's the one to start with. Like, you get to introduce to her writing and stuff like that. And it's just, I love learning about her, and it just sucks that we don't hear about her, like, you know, until this book. it's like, and it would make sense for us to hear about her. It's like she got lost in history, which is like sad. She's the one who founded all these. She founded Langston Hughes, like, and nurtured his early writing career to be able to push him to superstardom that we know in 2025. So that was the only like sad. It was just really sad to me. So okay, last book that I will talk about is the one that I don't really want to talk about. The one that I don't really want to talk about is Sweet, Soft, and Plenty Rhythm by Laura Worrell. Because I tagged the author in, like, because I do weekly, like, Monday posts, like, oh, here's what I'm reading this week. And I tagged her, like, oh, you know, I'm reading your book. And she responded, and she was, like, so nice in my comments. But y'all, this man is trifling. So, his name is Circus Palmer. He's like a trumpet. He's like a jazz player, a jazz musician, I should say. This is set in the early aughts, so like 2013. And he is a Rolling Stone. He's the definition of a Rolling Stone. He's a musician, so he has to travel a lot. He plays in bands and stuff. So literally everywhere, he has a woman for everywhere. From Florida all the way to New York and everything in between. He has a woman for everywhere. But the most important woman who's supposed to be in his life is his daughter. I mean, she's not a woman, she's a little girl. It's his daughter. It's supposed to be his most important relationship. But the way this man talked to his own daughter was just so mean and rude that I was like, I want to DNF this. I want to DNF this. Like, why am I reading this asshole story? And I pushed through because I'm like, I loved her. This is the thing. I love this writer. I love her her writing. So I pushed through. Y'all know I'll DNF a book so quick. Even if it's a highly anticipated read for me and I'm just not feeling it, I will DNF. But no, something about her writing, I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep reading. I loved the daughter. What's her name? Coco? And I can't find it, but I think her name is Coco. Anyways, so Coco barely knows him. He's like barely in and out of her life. He has a million women and we get all of their POVs. And yeah, so the only redeeming thing about this one is the ending. So we do get redemption for him from Circus. Did I say his name was Circus? Yeah. So we do get redemption for his story. Oh yes, girl. Yes, her name is Coco. Koko. And we get resolve for Coco and Circus's relationship as father and daughter. So that's the only thing. And I think it's triggering me because I don't want to say too much because my family watches this, but you know, father-daughter relationships are very tricky. So I think that was just triggering me. But this man, Circus Palmer, and did I tell y'all I gave it 3 stars, and it took me like 6 days to read this, which is unheard of for me, and it's not a long book. So read it if y'all like mess. Read it if you are fine with reading about a trifling Rolling Stone man and his many women, and reading about a father-daughter relationship. Let me say this: this is good to explore father-daughter relationships. I will say that. But the way this man is, Miss Laura Worrell, you wrote this book. I'm sorry I gave your book 3 stars, but I think he triggered me. I think he did. So, you guys, those are all I didn't count them. I don't know how many books they are, but those are all the books that I read in February. And I'm reading even more in March. Sorry. Well, not sorry. I'm having fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. and sticking with me through this whole video, me struggling through my February reads. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe and like the video and subscribe to the channel. And drop in the comments, if you made it this far, can you drop a brown heart? Thank you guys.